So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where the continent of Europe goes into a civil war. That's right, the entire continent of Europe will be forced to choose one of two sides in which they'll have to fight each other. And at the end of this video, we'll be seeing which countries would come out on top and which side would win. And on top of that, we will also be taking a look at some brand new borders of Europe. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're aiming for 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and it would be really cool to get there. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the scenario. Now, I have done a similar video to this in the past. However, I do want to make this a series since, you know, there's 6 continents which can be mapped. And overall, I think it would just be interesting to see how this would play out. Also, if this series is really good, I might do something similar to the War of Empires video, which was what if every empire went to war. I could have all the sides come back, and it would be kind of similar to the Total War video, except it would be with these new sides, and it wouldn't be based on like actual real life politics. But that's only if the series does good. So if you want to see it do good, then, you know, subscribe, like the video, share it. But now let's go ahead and start. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, I'm not really 100% sure where this would start at, because where it starts will definitely have an impact on which countries join what side. And also, it's important to know that every single country is going to be involved. So every European country, which can loosely be defined as these guys, will be forced into picking a side. But let's just go ahead and start this off in a classical way. It's going to be the UK versus France. Now, of course, this wouldn't happen in real life, but this is how it's going to be starting. So now the rest of Europe is going to be forced into choosing a side. Almost immediately, Ireland joins in on the side of France and Portugal on the side of the UK. Now, it really wouldn't necessarily matter who started the war. It's just going to matter who finishes the war. And each country is just going to be joining the side in which they find more favorable. So right now, Spain, they could join in on France's side. They'd be able to annex Portugal if they win. And of course, Spain's long rivalry with the UK. So Spain joins in on the side of France. I mean, Andorra, it's pretty simple. I don't think they would try to do anything stupid here. Jumping up north, Iceland would join in on the UK side. And here's where it gets interesting. So some countries like the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg have very good relations with both sides for mostly the same reasons. If you look at Belgium, they are half French, half German, which in the end makes it more favorable towards France. But at the same time, the UK-Belgian relations are very good. So, I mean, yeah, this is where the hard part comes in, like I said. But now we have a plot twist with Germany joining in on the side of the UK. This is mostly because Germany has established the Fourth Reich. It's like the 4th time that I made that joke in this entire channel's history. But now they're in to play the game, and, well, I mean, comparing Germany and France, Germany would get slapped, but, you know, maybe they'll have some allies. Yeah, like I said, allies. There's Luxembourg. They're really going to help. Oh, and there we go. There's the Netherlands. See, look, Germany is going to easily be able to win this. Totally. But with Western Central Europe now joining in on the side of the UK, it doesn't look too good for the blue team. Except for the fact that Italy just joined in on the side of France. And as well as the most powerful country in Europe, Monaco. The Vatican and San Marino aren't even visible on this map, but I mean, it would be pretty obvious which side they would join. And now we move up north to the north. Now, Denmark got invaded in 6 hours in World War II. And honestly, they ain't having that again. So they're joining in on the red team. Although they might be getting invaded in 6 hours because Sweden just joined in on the blue team. Mostly because Sweden and Denmark have a long history of hating each other. In real life, obviously, they don't hate each other anymore, but, you know, we can add in some history to this. Speaking of history, Norway joins in on the red side. Would it make more sense for them to join in on the blue side? Probably, because of Norway, Sweden, but let's just go ahead and say they don't want that to happen again, so they joined the red team. Now, poor old Finland here, who is the happiest country in the world and also the most depressed country in the world, is, forced to choose between Sweden and Norway. So for now, they just kind of waited out and see which side would be more beneficial. We have Austria joining in on Germany's side for obvious reasons. And then we have Switzerland, who barely ever gets talked about. Now, I did say that every European country is going to get involved, and that's going to be holding true. So unfortunately, Switzerland is forced to pick a side, and that German majority really sets them up for this. Now we go down to the Balkans. This is going to go by really fast. So Slovenia doesn't want to get killed by Italy again, so they join in on the blue team. Same for Croatia, and you can see how this is going to go. Serbia on the red team along with Montenegro. Bosnia on the blue along with Albania, North Macedonia, and Kosovo. Greece and Bulgaria on the red team. Romania on the red team. Moldova on the red team. And yeah, there's the Balkans. So yeah, it's kind of obvious why this would happen, and a lot of it has to do with this area in particular. Bulgaria and North Macedonian relations not well. North Macedonian and Greek relations also not well. And then Serbia, of course. Romania would probably not want to side with the blue team simply because of Kosovo being on it. But now we move up into the eastern half of Central Europe, where we have Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, and Czechia. Now you would think that Hungary would be a hard shot to call, but I mean, Looking at the teams, Serbia, Romania on the red team, would they really help them out? Absolutely not. They join in on the blue team, and this leads to Poland joining in on the blue team. And from here, the red team starts to get outnumbered. Slovakia makes a smart call to join in on the blue team, but Czechia does not make the same smart call and joins in on the red team. Now, Czech-Polish relations might stop this from happening, but honestly, Czech-German relations would also stop the vice versa from happening. So I think here is just like kind of the more sensible thing to do. Also, Russia's not going to be included in this scenario simply because Russia would be way more interesting for the Asia video instead of the European one. I mean, this itself is already super confusing and complex, but imagine if Russia got involved. Well, it would just end a lot quicker for one of the teams. Speaking of teams ending quicker, Belarus joins in on the red team. That's because they hate Poland, but that might not have been the smartest move because Ukraine technically isn't at war with Russia in this video, and we all know how Ukraine thinks of Belarus nowadays. Also Malta, blue team, obviously. And I guess Cyprus is also European, so they're going to be joining on the red team on the side of Greece and the UK. And then the last country here, Finland. Estonia's on the blue team, Sweden's on the blue team, so Finland joins in on the blue team. Now, is this feasible in any matter? Probably not. Some countries on each team have like claims against each other, such as Hungary and Ukraine, Greece and North Macedonia. So there is some differences on each side. However, when banded together, this kind of makes sense. Now, if you think a country probably wouldn't be on a team, then feel free to let me know in the comments. However, you should probably back up your statement, and you should probably want to defend that and, you know, use reason. Because if you say that like Moldova should be on the blue team, then you're going to have to explain why Moldova would want to do that and side against Romania, if you know what I mean. Anyway, now it's time to throw hands. Germany pushes through Belgium and Luxembourg in order to invade Belgium, and from here they use this to invade northern France. Now, we all know how this went in real life, but unfortunately France is stronger than Germany in real life, and Germany gets pushed back to a defensive position. Over in Ireland, we have some of the Irish military crossing over to Northern Ireland, although the UK is quick to send troops over to Northern Ireland in order to hold off the entire Irish army until a good majority of the British army is able to arrive in this area. Spain starts special operations into Portugal, both from the north and from the south, heading over towards Lisbon. Over in the Balkans, we have a southern Balkan gangbang going on. Greece and Bulgaria rip apart all of North Macedonia, as well as Kosovo, but Albania holds strong. Bosnia falls into a civil war once again, and followed by this to sink into the ocean. Seems like Bosnia really likes the ocean in my videos. Up north, we have Ukraine invading Moldova, and then we have Belarus getting clapped by all of Eastern Europe, so much so that they eventually collapse. The red team makes a decision to invade down to Slovenia in order to cut the blue team into two, which goes successfully. They then push around into the country until eventually the blue team says stop it, and well, the red team stops. Germany and the Czech Republic make a joint operation into western Poland, but once again this is eventually stopped. We have Hungary attempting to re-establish their claims, however this goes very badly very quickly as the Romanian army pushes Hungary back to their border. Overall, it's about equal right now, with the blue team and the red team getting their fair shares, although I mean, the blue team it severely outnumbers the red team in many categories. Back in Iberia, we have Portugal managing to push back Spain in the south. However, multiple offensives in the north proved that Portugal is really no match for Spain. Northern Portugal is encircled, and this eventually falls, leading to Spain having a crushing campaign towards Lisbon from the north. The southern campaign is eventually restarted, and eventually the city is reached and captured. From here, Portugal is split into three pieces, which are all eventually annexed by Spain, and Portugal is officially capitulated. Back over in Ireland, the UK manages to push back the Irish army, and from here they start to invade the country. This goes by pretty quickly since Ireland is very underpopulated and the military really isn't that big. However, nationalism might be able to hold off the UK from completely annexing it. A Swedish and Finnish campaign manages to capture the capital of Norway, which is Oslo. From here they sneak around the coast, and essentially Norway just kind of dies. Everywhere else you just kind of have mountains and then a ton of oil and then of course beautiful nature, but overall the most important areas are along the coast. So yeah, Poland's army arrives on the front line with Germany, and from here they push them back, and then we actually have Poland pushing in. Now Germany's army is mostly defensive and not offensive, so it kind of makes sense as to why this would fail. But on the other side of things, Germany did recently raise their military budget by like 100 million, or maybe it was 100 billion, probably 100 billion since Germany's rich, so maybe this could go well for Germany. It's not looking like it though. The Czech Republic and Austria managed to make a small campaign into Slovakia, which aims at capturing their capital, although this fails. Romania sees this as an opportunity to try to spearhead over to the rest of Europe, but this also fails, although little progress is being made each day. On the topic of progress, Ukraine manages to completely annex all of Moldova, and from here they push into Romania. Capital Bucharest is in sight, although Ukraine really doesn't aim to capture it. Since they are seeing this trouble over here in Hungary and Slovakia, they kind of want to hold that off and prevent that from happening. Italy's army finally arrives over here near Venice, and they push back the red team, cutting them off from the Adriatic Sea. A campaign is made in southeastern Austria, which is aimed at capturing Vienna. Now, there's an obvious reason why Italy just can't do this. That's because the Alpine mountain range is right here. Literally impossible to invade. Well, I mean, Hannibal did it, but that's just because he was Hannibal. Back in Belgium, the French army pushes back the Germans, and now France uses Germany's own technique against it. France pushes in from the Netherlands and Luxembourg. From here, France manages to capture Frankfurt, which is the economic capital of Germany. This is a huge blow to the red team. Sweden crosses a strait and arrives in Copenhagen and manages to capture the capital. And from here, we have Denmark falling in an astonishing 7 hours. Germany starts to fall apart, and it's really starting to look like a Hoi 4 campaign gone wrong. The French and the Swedish meet up, and this creates one large front line against the country. The UK and France are playing a game of Battleship over here in the English Channel, and nobody is winning because the navies are similarly matched. Paratroopers aren't really an option either because air superiority wise, they are also matched. And yeah, it's just the UK kind of doing what they did in World War II. Romania continues its campaign over towards Central Europe, although the point of that might be fading away. Oh god, the Poles are in Berlin. Yeah, there really is no point anymore. Germany loses all of its coast, which leads to the catastrophic collapse of the country. Bavaria essentially just secedes, and from here, Germany surrenders. Time for Sudetenland, and there goes the Czech Republic. Slovakia manages to push back the rogue Czech troops, and Vienna, Austria is captured. And at this point, it's really just the Alpine mountains that exist. France manages to make a little bit of a push into this side of Switzerland, but that's mostly just because there's not that many mountains there. Also, I didn't say anything about Liechtenstein. It's pretty obvious they're on the red team. You can't even see them, so I guess you guys would just assume that. So now we have Romania withdrawing all of its troops from Hungary in order to set up a defensive line. Serbia manages to push back blue team troops and even manages to make a little bit of a campaign into Croatia, although said campaign is stopped almost immediately. Ukraine now refocuses on capturing Bucharest, in which they managed to do, and from here they make an encirclement in the only coastal area of Romania that remains. This encirclement is pretty crucial as it eliminates a good portion of the Romanian army, and with this we have Hungary seeking to get back Transylvania, while Ukraine seeks just to kind of get rid of Romania as a whole. So yeah, the red team is definitely slipping at this point. I mean, there's only like 3-4 major players left. Romania is barely even there. And then Norway, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's I'm just gonna go ahead and say that Norway surrenders. Probably the smart thing to do in this situation. So with hope being lost for the red team, we have Iceland pulling in Italy and switching sides. We have the surrender of Austria and Switzerland. Montenegro switches sides, and the northern Balkans starts to get crushed by the blue team. Bulgaria is eventually stormed, Kosovo and North Macedonia are liberated, and the slow invasion of Greece begins. At this point, it's just Greece, Cyprus, and the UK, and then occupied Ireland, who starts to rise up against the UK. I mean, the UK is most likely sending their forces all over Europe in order to try to, well, I guess, save Greece? Although there'd be no way that they would be able to get troops down there, so I guess the UK is just kind of chilling. I mean, France and the blue team definitely have air superiority as well as naval superiority at this point, simply because the UK is the only major player left. So Ireland rising up and rebelling against the UK isn't completely impossible. The IRA-ish army manages to capture Northern Ireland, and from here the UK, Greece, and Cyprus agree to meet for peace with the blue team. Hey, future me here. So my audio decided that it didn't really want to record. Classic me recording issues, I know. But essentially, the video is finished and there's really no point in recording the entire video just for the last 2 minutes of the video. So I guess what you're seeing now is the new borders of Europe. Yeah, they're really bad, and I talked about that in the video. But basically every country that won the war got land no matter what, so that's kind of what is going on here. Once again, I do apologize for this error. I mean, there's nothing I could really do about it happening. I'm not sure why I always have recording issues when I'm just trying to, you know, do my thing. Anyway, I'm just gonna kind of repeat what I said in the video. So thank you guys for watching, and yeah, it's just kind of a weird ending because I'm voicing it over. I don't think I've ever done a voiceover video before, so this is definitely weird. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're getting close to 100,000 subscribers. I say this in every video, and I'll say it now even though it's a voiceover. We really want to get there by the end of the year, and it would mean a lot to me if we could do it. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.